Very deep between us. After all, the night draws near. Weathered by the storm, shattered into pieces. You and I, the revelry in isolation. Much too far apart, there's no way home. The night draws near. The night draws near. We are waiting for the sun to shine. Shed my skin, lift the darkness from my eyes. No more tears to cry. One last time, every single time, slipping through my hands like drops of falling rain. Gritting on your face, I don't know the answer, but I got the pain. The night draws near. The night draws near. We are waiting for the sun to shine. Shed my skin, lift the darkness from my eyes. No more tears to cry. One last We are waiting for the sun to shine. Shed my skin, lift the darkness from my eyes. No more tears to cry. One last time. We are waiting for the sun to shine. Shed my skin, lift the darkness from my eyes. No more tears to cry. One last time. We are waiting for the sun to
What's up, gang? Can you all hear me? Hopefully. This is coming through nice and clear from the hotel room. All right, there we go. That annoying. What is going on with my hair at the moment? I'm going full 50s right now. That's a good look, isn't it? How's everybody doing? It's been a little while since I've done a live stream, and my camera is definitely wonky. Let me fix that. No, wrong way. I want to put that there, and let's go. No, that's definitely making it worse. Oh God, I'm not helping at all, am I? Anyway, that'll have to do. What's going on, legends? Exactly. Chase Emerson knows what's up all about that. What's up all about that? That's real good. Me fail English? That's impossible. Great. I'm glad it came through. And yes, and Noise Bloom. So back on the road. So I'm in Sydney, and I will be here for the next 2 months. So hey, if you're in Sydney, hit me up because I'm playing a show here, which is good fun. I've got 3 guitars here with me, 2 for the show, and then this is the beast that has been brought back from the dead, fresh stainless refret on here. So it's got like in between medium jumbo and jumbo. So they're pretty big frets, which is kind of nice. So yeah, it went from basically being a fretless wonder to being amazing to play. Totally vibing with this thing. That's pretty loud acoustically as well, as it should be. I just knocked it down. I've been playing it in standard, but I just knocked it down into drop C because I wanted to play some Ragdoll tunes for you guys. Yeah, what has been going on? Well, anyone have any questions or anything like that? It's pretty miserable here at the moment. It's grey and it's raining, and what is it? It's just before, or just past midday over here. So I've got a double tonight. I'll be, I think, calls at like 10 to 4 or something. So I've got until about 3:30 to basically chill out and then get ready for the madness. All right. I mean, this guitar also, you know, it's pure Soundgarden vibes, right? Point my microphone at me, that might help. All right, I should catch up on the chat as well because I've not been catching up on the chat. Turn your echo cancelling off. Aha, all right. We have a cat ouchie on your arm. Okay, well, yeah. These are definitely cat wounds. These are actually from my backpack, which was been walking to the show every day. So where the strap goes through the, you know, strap tightener thing, it kind of broke. So there's a sharp bit, and I just didn't realize as I was putting on, I was scratching myself. So yeah, let me get this echo cancellation stuff off because I'm on my laptop. Hopefully this is even better as well. Let me know if that works better for everybody. Then there's fades when you play. Cool. All right. So let me know if this is better, dudes. Now there's that little, the clapper. What is going on? Oh, here's a good question. So, well, there's many questions in here. Achillies amps, what's the verdict? Amazing. Hopefully when I am back, so I think I get back there right at the end, get back home right at the end of July, I'm trying to tee it up at the moment, but hopefully some of their kind of Fender-based designs coming through to do some demos with, because I turn it overall up just a hair. Hey, loud is more good, right? Let me do that. Let me do that. Where are we at? Audio. I know why my camera wasn't working. Hopefully this is better. Hey, there we go. Now, yeah, okay. I'm more wonky, but at least that's better. All right, 1 second. We're doing this on the fly. Hopefully, once I've got this set up, it will be set and forget. Why is that not? Oh, yeah. Bear with me, everybody. I'm a true professional at work over here. Hey, there we go. And now I can't see my head. Let's fix that. There we go. It's still going to be wonky. I put absolutely no time into setting this up. So there we go. Thanks for bearing with me. Hey, look at that. Achillies amps, what's the verdict? They're amazing. Really, really high quality stuff. I had their 50 watt and 40 watt Marshall style things. And yeah, it's just kind of hard to go wrong when you've got someone who really knows what they're doing. They love the vintage circuits. I'm super stoked. I really want to try their like Vibraverb style amp, because they've got one which has like all the SRV Cesar Diaz mods built into it as stock. So yeah, that'll be pretty sick. Rick Emmett 5-minute tones with that guitar. Well, we'll have to do it at some point, right? Because it's total Rick. It's total Canadian power trio vibes with this, right? Rick, Alex Lifeson. What more do you want out of life? What gauge strings am I using? These. Yeah, that's a good question. Because I got this back from Williams Guitars, and I mean, he knows what gauge strings are like. I assume they're 10 to 52s. It feels like my other guitars now, which is cool. So they might be 10 to 46. I don't know, but there we go. All right, what else? There were some other questions in here I wanted to. Vegemite does rule. It definitely does. When's the American tour? Well, hopefully, I mean, we're trying to work on some stuff for later in this year. We'll see if it eventuates. I've got some, finally, like some solid stuff to work around and some dates. So, you know, like a lot of this stuff, very sensitive to change in schedule and things like that. But yeah, that's something I do want to hopefully work towards. I'm gonna come back hopefully within the next 6 to 9 months anyway, and see some family and stuff like that. So yeah, you know, you'll all know about it when it happens. This is so the angle. I'm not going to touch it. I'm not going to touch the camera anymore. I'll just fix it for next time. What's up, Michael, as well? I'm so glad you're looking after all the kiddies as well, mate. Rad. Is your DGT an SE or a core model? The Tobacco Burst one that I have is a core. That's the one that I'm playing for the show at the moment. I've got that, and I've got the Vibrato Lassie as the two show guitars. The jack on this is like, you know, like 1 time out of 10 slightly intermittent, so I haven't been using it, but I'll probably get that sorted hopefully in the next couple of weeks while I'm here, and then start playing this guitar for the show, because it totally suits the vibe. But yeah, I also have a DGT SE. I did a comparison video with them not too long ago that I think you should check out. There's some interesting similarities. Like, you know, it's like 95% there basically. I think the core is overall like a finer instrument, but whether that really matters at the price point is, you know, that's kind of the point. You pay less money, you get an amazing instrument. You pay more money, you also get an amazing instrument. So yeah, where are we at over here? Here we go. Some Yngwie. Yeah, ask me about the Malmsteen tour. I'm ready to talk about that. Believe me. You get to spend some quality time with Yngwie. Absolutely, man. We were invited to the pool, and we got to drive in the Ferrari, and you know, it's it's a vibe, right? Look, I will say, in all seriousness, the tour was amazing for us. Like, we got to play to a lot of people. They're definitely the 3 best shows we've ever done in Australia. It was well worth the time, money, and effort to do them, right? So, and I got to meet a lot of people who subscribe to the channel as well. It was, you know, it was like a guitar nerds convention, because you've got to see, you know, if Yngwie comes through your town, just go and see it. If you like what he does, you'll have a good time. If you don't like what he does, you'll also have a really good time. So yeah, it's you know, he's like the last unicorn, right? He does it old school, and he plays very loud, and his playing's still phenomenal. You know, he's got all the tricks. Hey, check this out. We've got okay, so I'm going to try and pronounce your name. Is it Quiroz and Idapo in Brazil? I butcher every name anyway, so thanks for tuning in, dude. I really, I'm glad you enjoyed, and you enjoy what's going on in here. So presets need to be guitar specific. This is an interesting thing. Okay, so this is a follow-on from this question. Do you find different guitars don't sound as good with specific presets you program? Definitely. I feel like I kind of like that, where like if I dial in, you know, so I'll mute my mic because this is a guitar, this is a sound that I dialed in for, I mean, it's the preset that I use for the Malmsteen tour. So I dialed it in for the Rubato, which is a carbon fiber guitar with Porter pickups. Very different to this thing, right? So, but I think it still sounds pretty awesome on this guitar. What is interesting is this guitar's got a coil tap, so that's what this does. If I go to the single coil mode, like it's very different, which is a bit more like, I guess, if you plugged a Telly or a Strat into this preset. So have a listen to, I guess, how appropriate it is with humbuckers and how different it is with the single coil. So I'll start with humbuckers. And, you know, that is a big thing I get asked about a lot, is like, hey, I love the way the preset sounds in your video. When I plug my guitar into it, it sounds nothing like that. So, yeah, even just the setup on your guitar, the pickup height, and the way you play, I think is important. I did a video maybe a little over a month ago with Paul Bradshaw. So Paul's got a great kind of Fractal-centric YouTube channel, great player, and we just played a few of the same riffs, and I reamped his guitar through my rig, and it kind of sounded similar, but there were also some really key differences. And, you know, it was guitar with, you know, medium output, bridge humbucker, should sound pretty similar. I think they sounded pretty different, but then it was like, if you adjust the gain a little bit, or you adjust the overall treble mid-bass balance, then you get a different thing going on. So hey, this is very, very kind. This one is from Do Pork Chop Express. Leon, any tips on getting a similar tone to John Sykes' Whitesnake 1987 album, amp settings, tone, having John's amazing locks? Well, in reverse order, I think having John's amazing locks is very, very important. And obviously, like, the way he plays is like a massive part of it. But I mean, the core idea, I think I have a preset on here actually. Let's see. I think it should be on here. I think I've just called it 1987. Here we go. Cool. I'm just going to bring up the preset. So I do a Whitesnake tribute with some friends in Perth, and we maybe do like 2 shows a year. This strand of hair is driving me nuts. There it is. Much better. Getting closer to John's, the luscious locks. So I'm just using in the FM3, the Boogie Mark IV model. I guess you could use the 2C Plus. I think John used the Mark III Coliseum. And then, what do I actually have in here? I don't have this hooked up to Axe Edit at the moment. So if you've watched any of my videos with the Mark IV, it's the same settings. It's the same stuff I use for the Ragdoll thing. Let me mute my mic. And yeah, basically I have that set up with, you know, the bass and middle really low, treble cranked up, heaps of gain, play with the presence to taste, give it a bit of a V curve on the EQ, IR of choice, bit of hall reverb, bit of pitch detune on it, and you're basically pretty happy. So yeah, I'm in drop C, so, you know, make of that what you will, but you get this. not in the right tuning for this, but you get the vibe. And then the clean sound, I'm just using a filter block into a compressor into a chorus, and I do have a video on my channel breaking down that sound if you just look up like the Rockman style thing. So you get all that kind of sparkle in there. So yeah, Mark Series, bit of grease. Turn the fat switch on for the leads. That gets you the big. And happy days. I do have a video breaking down that preset as well, so check that out. Do you reckon you do anything at strings attached? Pending schedule. I actually haven't been in touch with them this year. I normally do chat to Dan, the festival organizer, so if I'm free, I'll probably just come down and hang out anyway because it's a good time. But yeah, this year has been mental. It's just what is it? It's the 1st of June today, so we're almost halfway through the year, and yeah, I've done a lot more gigging and touring than I anticipated at the start of the year, so yeah, pretty full on. Hey, we've got Jason from Headfirst in the chat. Jace, can you believe, man, this is a 79, so to go with the 79 Marshall, and hopefully you all saw the video. I put it up on my channel yesterday. I bought a 1979 Marshall 2959. So they were originally, a Marshall with spring reverb. And they had a few extra little features on there, but kind of a plexi, but also kind of not, or I should say a super lead. Some differences in spec. The one that I got had already been modified more to a 1959 super lead spec, and the reverb had been taken out. So I figured it had already kind of been hacked up. So I sent it to Jason, and he did the kind of Mick Mars style mod with an extra Jose style gain stage. There's a master volume on there. Just cleaned the amp up. There was a few funky bits on it that sort of needed some work in there. And I did a video with it yesterday. Jason did a video on the Headfirst Amps channel, and it was funny because I was watching. I was like, man, he got it sounding so meaty. Like that's the sound. And when I was hearing myself play through it, it just kind of sounded like AC/DC. So there's a lot to be said about the way different people dial in sounds, and also the way you play. And Jason's an amazing player, and I think every time I watch one of his videos, I'm like, that's what a Marshall should sound like. So yeah, Jason is the Marshall Whisperer, and you should all definitely go and check out the video he did with the amp after he modded it, and also the video I did with the modded amp, because I love it. I grew up playing Marshalls, right? And I've sort of always wanted a 70s Marshall, like just for the aesthetics, because they're the best looking amps. So that 2959 super rare, it came up for sale locally. It had been owned. The previous owner had it for maybe 15 years, and it previously belonged to Lounge Guitars. So I suspect it was maybe a backline amp for a while, and it had a few mods done. It sounded really good in stock form, but yeah, just having the ability to run it stock the way Jason's done the mods, and then having the ability to get the extra stuff on there and like the master volume. It's really cool having a plexi with a master, because you crank it all the way up and it's a plexi, super lead, whatever you want. I'll be specific and say, yeah, super lead 1959 circuit, right? But I find on that, it's like if you back off the master to around halfway or 1 o'clock, it takes out a little bit of that just like, phase inverter scream that you get, tightens everything up, and you can use the 2 volumes to, balance out the effect of the bright cap, and then you've got the extra Jose gain stage in front to just slam the gain. So what you kind of lose in like maybe a little bit of power amp distortion and, phase inverter grease, you get back in the front end, so you can get like a slightly more modern sound out of it. It's awesome. I really, really love that. Oh, and I haven't watched it yet, but I did see that Michael Nielsen did a video with the Alta Mark II, which is an amazing amp. It's sick, man. It's so cool to see. It's so cool to see Jason's amps kind of take off, like globally. It's amazing, right? Because I started watching his channel when it was mostly just mods and clones, right? Where it's like, man, this guy, he knows everything about Marshalls. I dig this, and I like the way that he plays. And then, we connected I think someone on a live stream was actually like, hey, have you checked out any Headfirst stuff? You'd really like it. So we were able to connect thanks to the magic of the internet. And, you know, now Jason's someone I call a friend and a buddy, and like someone I look up to in the space. I like the way he goes about his business. I like the way he goes about his playing. He's, you know, an above board operator in a in a sea of absolute snakes. And, you know, like the Hunter S. Thompson thing. Oh, it has a bad side as well. But yeah, yeah, I'm looking forward to watching the Nielsen video because, you know, Mike knows tone, Jason knows tone. There we go. Hey, Michael, what's up, man? I missed you at the Yngwie shows, dude. I hope you're recovering and doing well, man. It was you know, it was nice to hear from you, and you know, my best wishes to you as well. Played a 335 when I was a teenager, mate. When you get a chance, just go to a music store that has one and be a pest, and you know, spend half an hour on one. They're pretty fun. They're you know, I'm 6'2" in the old language, 185, 186 centimeters. So a guitar like this actually doesn't look like a toy when I play it. I find if I play, especially like a Les Paul or even the Vibrato that I've got, I love that guitar, but it is a small body, so I kind of look like a giant beanpole when I play it. Yeah. There you go. And also, yeah, Jason's now got Headfirst now have US distribution, so that's a win for everybody, right? You know, having those pipelines and channels to get the gear is better, obviously for the builder, but also for consumers, because they're going to be getting stuff for a better price and not dealing with the absolutely insane shipping costs that rack everything at the moment. This is a cool question from John here. When you started playing guitar, did you start on acoustic or electric or both? So the TLDR on it is, so my dad plays guitar, and this, you know, this was his guitar. It's not that he's gone anywhere, he's still kicking, but yeah, I sort of borrowed this guitar from him, right? And we were doing, in 2013, we were recording an EP, and there was a particular solo on a song called Self-Censored, which is one of my favorite Ragdoll songs. And maybe I'll play it in a bit, but I played the solo on this guitar, and like, you know, we were recording and he came in and played it back to him, and he was like, oh my god, I love that so much. He's like, you got it, that guitar's yours now, sort of thing. So that was a bit of a moment. And now having it, yeah, Tim at Williams Guitars, man, he did such a good job on this. He's kind of done most of my old guitars now, and yeah, I'm very happy to have it back in the stable. I think, like, once I get this input jacks thing sorted out, I'll probably start doing some Ragdoll shows with it as well, just because it's such a vibey guitar. I really, really do love it. So, yeah, shout out to Tim, shout out to Jason. So now I've got a 79 Marshall that I love. I've got a 79 335, and they go together so well. Like, this guitar has T-tops, got the original pickups in it. It's just a beast. It's so good. Could sell tens of them, yeah. Hey man, I often say that to people. It's like, bro, if you want to sell like 6 to 8 units, I'm your man. We'll make it happen. Hey, Blackstrap Blues, shout out to Warren as well. Guys, if you're not aware of Warren, Blackstrap Blues, you'll like what I do, go and check him out. He's incredible. I've been jamming to, like, in the gym, just I've kind of had the albums playing through. It's like, if you're like, you know, you're like Gilmore, you're like Jeff Beck, you're like people who can just slay you with a couple of notes. Warren's your man. Hey, and Warren also, you know, you're kind of to blame for me wanting to get that amp playing your modded, is it a super bass that you've got? That was one of those, like, okay, Troy's got his old Marshall, you've got that amp, I just feel like I need to join the club. So yeah, beautiful stuff. Where am I at? Phil Gone. Big eyed while I go down the Rack Effects rabbit hole. Mate, how's it going for you? What have you found that you really like? And I think the unspoken thing with a lot of that is, you know, you get some absolute hits, but you get plenty of misses with the rack stuff, right? Where, you know, you're really excited about it and it arrives and it just doesn't work, or, you know, it needs work to get fully functional. So there you go. Hey, we've got some 335 fans in here. The Real BP Earthwatch 73 in red. That's rad, dude. Congratulations on the Yngwie tour. It was awesome. Thank you. Thank you. It was the trip of a lifetime. We had a lot of fun. A lot of fun. 79 was a good year. There you go, Warren. That's awesome. Here we go. What was it? Sir modded 2203. Well, you know, god tier stuff, right? Did you? Sorry, I feel like I'm. I feel like I could just get Warren in on the chat. You sent the. Did you send the amp to John to get it done? Because that's pretty cool. Very, very cool. We're gonna need a bigger rack. Exactly. And Hit Metalworks also, thank you. It was mad fun just to see the wall of Marshalls, man. It was so good. Here we go. PCM 70, Eclipse, and 2 SD 3000s are all I need. I am not going to argue with that, bro. They're like, the PCM 70 is a vibe machine. The the reverbs and the delays and just the modulation in there, it's special. And the Eclipse is probably the best single space rack unit ever made. It's incredible. I actually like the PCM 70 style reverb in the Eclipse more than I like the PCM 70 for a few things. It's kind of crazy. And yeah, the 2 SDEs, it's a beautiful thing. So we're catching up with Phil and his rack journey. What's he got? Microverb 4, Lexicon MX200. The MX200 is really good, dude. I owned one and then I lent it to someone and I've never seen it again, and that was about 8 years ago. So yeah, but even like the chorus and stuff like that in there, they're great, you know. Midiverb 3, yeah, dude, get on that. They're fun. They're character machines. Steve Williams from Taiwan. Thanks for tuning in, Steve. We're probably in the same time zone, right? Hope you're enjoying it, man. Korean-made Hondo 335 that had Damasio K10s in it from the factory. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, it kind of works, right? You know, because they're loud guitars as well. You know, it's kind of cool. I love a spicy 335. Okay, this is the real question, right? So how many of those Marshalls at the Yngwie show were active? I think at least 4. For the Sydney show, he had every single head on. Most of them were on standby, but it was sick because you could see the indicator lights. And it was funny going up to it. I don't know where I don't know where they sourced all the amps from, if it was one backline company. I imagine some favors had to be called in with, like, you know, private citizens loaning their amps, because it was the Melbourne show, I'm fairly certain his main amp, he was playing a 100-watt Plexi. The Brisbane show, the tour manager was saying that he was super, like, Yngwie was super happy at that show because he had a 100-watt Plexi, you know, 4-input, just a straight-up 1959 Super Lead. I think it was a reissue because it had the effects loop. So he was running that. The Brisbane show, I feel like maybe there were 2 Plexis and then maybe 2 DSLs. And the Sydney show, he was playing through a DSL on the Green Channel. It sounded phenomenal as well. So, yeah, he had, I'm fairly certain it was 2 amps on all the time, and one of them he had a DD3 in the loop with like a small amount of slapback, and then there was at least 2 other heads. Anytime I looked behind it, it had DD3s in the loop. I think probably for the longer delays, and he was bringing those in and out with his switching system. So, yeah, I mean, there was a lot of noise on stage. Like, it was phenomenally loud. The Melbourne show was crushing. It's the loudest gig I can remember going to, and people were actually leaving because it was so loud. And, you know, he was doing this thing where he turned the whammy pedal on up an octave and he's playing in the high octave, and yeah, everyone was just kind of standing there like this. Yeah, so it was Spinal Tap, bro. It was absolutely crazy. Ah, this is cool. Just saw the Thin Lizzy live from Australia recently. Oh man, that's such a good gig. That's one of the first concert videos I ever saw. Which is funny because it's like Gary Moore and Mark Norsif, so it's like half of Colosseum. But early Lizzy, it's funny you bring this up, because I've been, another band I've been like, they're kind of the reason I got into playing guitar, because Alive and Dangerous. I heard that and I was like, oh my god, I want to do this. I want to be Scott Gorham. And yeah, going back and listening to some of the earlier albums, like Probably the earliest stuff I dig is probably, I mean, obviously Jailbreak's great. I like Fighting. There's a few good songs, and like some of the Eric Bell stuff. You know, I'm not like a super fan where I love everything they've done. I think they're one of those bands where it took them a while to really find the sound everyone loves them for. But Eric's a great guitar player. I really like his playing. You know, Shades of a Blue Orphanage and stuff like that. For the time, awesome. But yeah, for me, it's kind of like probably starts around that Fighting era, like 73, 74 or something like that. So yeah. What is up, Leon? Well, if you've just joined the chat, I'm in Sydney. I'm in my hotel room, and it's going to be me for the next 2 months, man. I'm playing at the Spiegel tent here, doing 6 shows a week. We're 3 shows in. We've got a double today. It was press night on Thursday night, which went really, really well. It was just funny because it was, you know, it was packed, but it was all the Sydney influences, so it was just phones up at all time, which was interesting. Yeah, man, it would have been like, you know, I love the stuff they did with Gary Moore. I really like the Chinatown album with Snowy as well, but yeah, it's, you know, Robbo and Scott, and that's the when they talk about the boys being back in town, they're the boys. So this is a cool question. My opinion on the new DSL versus the JCM 2000s. Look, I'm not qualified to really have an opinion because I've never put them side by side, but especially touring the States, I was always happy when there was a DSL. Like it felt like a lot of venues had the 100H as a backline amp. I kind of like the depth knob rather than the deep switch. I felt like that was a bit easier to dial in. This is, I mean, you've just made me aware of a massive oversight on my channel, right? I've never done a video with the JCM 900 dual reverb. I've never done a video with the DSL 100H. I really should, and put it side by side, because yeah, the DSL 50 that I've got is actually Ryan's, and it's just a really, really good sounding example. So yeah, where are we at? There's Eric Bell's harmony guitar on Whiskey. Yeah, right. I mean, that's a cool choice that they made. And you know, when they talk about the sound, I guess you also had like Wishbone Ash at the same time doing the dual harmony thing. You know, they definitely went the first to do it. They definitely made it a thing, didn't they? It's interesting because growing up, I was just like, yeah, every band should have 2 lead guitarists and they should play lots of harmonies. And, you know, it was like Thin Lizzy and Iron Maiden for me. And then I started listening to trios and I was like, you don't need 2 guys in the band. You can just do this. Mike Torin is in the chat. What's up, bro? Have you got your new guitar yet? Because that thing looked incredible. Incredible. You know, it's a year for 335s, right, dude? Where are we at? Real opinion on the Palmer Supreme Soak. I'm trying to get a silent wet dry wet going straight to the mixer. There goes my camera. All right, are we somewhat more organized? There we go. All right, I'm gonna have to do this and really lean back. What was I gonna say? To me, the big advantage with that is it lets you do, if you're already using cabs, I really like the attenuation on it. I still prefer IRs when it comes to direct sounds over speaker simulation. But I thought that for analog speaker simulation, it's really, really good. And if you don't want to go down the digital rabbit hole, it's a pretty good solution. I mean, what else is out there that does a similar thing that's all analog and gives you the attenuation? So yeah, I really like the attenuator on it. I really like that if you were using 3 cabs for actual wet, dry, wet, it does make it relatively straightforward to set that up. And then having the attenuation on the dry amp is pretty cool. But I think if you were going to do direct, like if you just want to go straight to the mixer, you know, just go stereo. Because, I mean, wet, dry, wet, it's awesome, but it's really for when you have 3 speaker cabinets, to me. I can't see the real advantage over just, like if you were going stereo FRFRs, it's going to be stereo, it's going to be super lush, you know, you blend in your wet effects, you're still going to have your dry center image if you do it right, you know, kind of don't need that middle cab in there. But when you've got a physical cab and it's dry, that's a vibe, because if you like the sound of a guitar amp through a cabinet, that's really important. You could do real cab with 2 FRFRs as the wet, or you could do 3 real cabs. I think in that case, the other advantage is because it's all analog, you're not going to have any dicking around if you want dry in the wet cabinets, right? You're not going to have any phase issues or anything like that. So yeah, it's a pretty well thought out product. I think if you were just going direct, just a straight up load box is probably a better way to do it. You know, I've got the Fractal X load, there's the Sir, they're probably the 2 best load boxes out there because they actually have impedance curves that look like speakers, unlike the 2 Notes and the Aux, which sound good, but the impedance curves don't look like speakers, right? So yeah, and there is the stereo loop in the Palmer as well. So yeah, have you ever played a Hughes and Kettner amp? Yes, I have. Not a huge amount. I did a video with the Core Blade recently. One of my students has one, so you can check that one out. They're yeah, they're interesting. I think they're an acquired taste. I'd like to try a Triamp, obviously, because of the Lifeson connection right there. So, and here we go. The Beatles did the harmony thing on 1966, and Your Bird Can Sing. Well, this is like one of those things. Like, of course, the Beatles did it first. You know, the GX100, yes or meh? What's your use case and what's your budget? Because I think I kind of prefer that to the GT1000, if I'm being totally honest. The Boss stuff sounds great. Like, that's it. Like, the effects sound like Boss effects, and what more do you need out of life? The thing with the GT1000 that drives me nuts is every block is always on the grid. Like, it's always on there. I don't want that. Sometimes I just want to go, like, you know, compressor, amp, cab, delay, reverb. And on the GX, you can set it up like that, where you just add the blocks. So yeah, that's kind of what I like. I hope they do a GX Core at some point. Where are we at? Newish sub. Purchased a Fractal recently, watching all your videos to figure out. By the way, hello from New Orleans. One of my favorite places in the world, man. Thanks for tuning in. I went there in 2014 with my wife. We went on a holiday there. Well, she wasn't my wife at the time, still my girlfriend, but yeah, she's from Dallas, so she'd always wanted to go there, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. And we had the best time. Like, stayed in this awesome Airbnb right near Bourbon Street, and yeah, just the food, the vibe, the people, everything about it was amazing. I had such a good time. That was one of those, like, oh, okay, I think I like this. I think I like everything about the way this place vibes. We went to Commander's Palace, which changed my life, because the food that I had there, I was like, I want to learn how to cook this at home. So yeah, love New Orleans, man. Thanks for tuning in. Here we go. Dual guitar harmonies was a thing for a long time. Judas Priest, even Kiss. Man, some of the Kiss harmonies as well are awesome. Like Black Diamond, right? What a killer thing. I was watching a clip of a Perth Kiss tribute band that some friends of mine playing, and they were playing that, and I was like, oh yeah, this has awesome harmonies. Detroit Rock City, right? It's, man, Kiss were a good band. They were a good band. OU has an ultra sweet setup, Leon Todd. You should check it out. All right, I'm going to do this, and it's a great name as well. How do I'll figure out how to navigate there in a second, dude. And yeah, shout out to OU812. I'm going to check out the channel, and I'm sure I will have a very, very good time doing so. Let me do this. Bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. What am I trying to do here? Let's do that. Let's do that. I'm just setting this up so I can actually check it out afterwards. I'm going to catch up with some more questions. Warren had a question about the Aux Stomp. We'll get to that in a sec. Do I run stereo live? When possible, yes. So for the Yngwie tour, the first show we did, we had like 0.6 seconds to get set up, so I just ran mono for that. It was totally cool. The Brisbane show, we had about 0.9 seconds to set up, so I played in stereo for that. And they had these gigantic side fills on both sides of the stage, and that's the best live sound I've had on stage for quite a while. It was so good. And with the stereo pitch detune on there, it was just, oh man, I was so happy. So happy. It's like, you go out and sound check, play the No More Tears riff, and that was That was pretty sick. I'll go back to the preset that I was using. So it's interesting, I actually used the 5153 Stealth Red for that run of shows. I really like the way it sounded rather than the Mark IV, so I'll mute my mic so you can get the full unmolested Chungus. It's a nice thing to have in your back pocket, isn't it? River Dogs, yes, I've checked that album out. I expected it maybe to be a little bit more like Blue Murder vibe, but it was still a pretty solid album. So yeah, you know, Viv's done pretty well, making the leap to Def Leppard. Good on him. But yeah, that's a pretty underrated album, I think. And there was also, was it Shadow King? With Lou Gramm, was Vivian Campbell in that? We're getting deep into the AOR lore here at the moment. Question from Warren. I don't know if I've asked, have I tried the UA Oxom? I haven't had a chance to do it. So the distributor for UA here, I was doing some demos for them, and I kind of haven't heard from them for maybe the last 4 or 5 months. I was trying to get my hands on a Lion to do a demo with, and they were meant to send one out. I just kind of haven't touched base. It's been a crazy year, man. So hopefully I get to try that and the Lion very soon. Black Diamond, yeah, dude. I'm gonna just go over to OU812's channel, and as everybody else watching this stream should do, go and subscribe. Let's do this. 812. Excellent reference as well. A fantastic, you know, Van Hagar reference in there. 1 second. Here we go, dude. Hitting the sub. Done. I'm just kind of perving on this over here. So, ooh, I like the. Aha, well, I know what I'm doing for the rest of the afternoon. I'm going to watch this Trans-Trem rebuild on here because I'm super curious about that. That's a kind of dream piece of gear. So tell me about it, OU812. How'd you come across your Steinberger? Because that's a unicorn that has evaded me so far. Yeah, a lot of stuff I've heard with the Lion sounds really, really great. And, you know, if you like Marshall, it's kind of a no-brainer. And James Santiago does great work. I saw a video of Ugo Velaverta playing an Aussie tribute show. I have not seen that. That would be absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect, because he's got the muscle that Zach has, you know what I mean? I still remember the first time I heard this riff. What an album. Look up the last live thing. Yes, dude, I'm excited. This is why I like the internet, right? You know, just connects people like this. People who enjoy the same things. So I'm going to play you guys a Ragdoll song. I might play Rust on this. See if I can get through it. Just blow the rust off, right? So let's do this. And I'll be back in 3 minutes and 50 seconds. hear the ringing of the bridge on there, right? That's pretty funny. So yeah, I think maybe if I do play this live, I've got to put some foam there just to. But that's part of the character, right? It's a tough little trade-off on there. Yeah, the Blue Murder sounding part. You got that, bro. The Rev Stars. I have, yeah, one of my students has one. They're pretty good, man. Like that. They're like a great platform guitar. You don't like the pickups, change the pickups, and you're still kind of ahead in terms of, yeah. Great. Like they're kind of the, I don't know what those and the PRS, the modern SEs, are like, they're kind of hard to go past in terms of just like, you need a great working guitar without too much money. I'm keen to know though, how is the fretboard on them? You know, like how lumpy or ski jumpy is it, or are they solid on there? Where does it rank on the modern production guitar range? I'm pretty curious to know, because I know you've got that data. What interface am I using? Good question. I have, so for this, let's take a look at this is a mess at the moment, but you know, there's my laptop. I'm using the Apollo Twin, but because it doesn't have SPDIF in, I've got a little SPDIF to optical converter. So my microphone is going through, there we go. Shure SM7B, that's going into the analog 1 input on the Apollo. I've got the Neve preamp unison thing and the distressor plugin on there. So that's for the vocal mic, and it does sound a lot better when I'm up close, like I should be for a podcast voice, right? But we'll just put it down there because I don't have a mic stand in here. Maybe I should get a mic stand and then it'll actually be better. And then, yeah, using the FM3 for all the guitar sounds, and that's SPDIF out to the converter, which turns the digital signal into an optical fiber optic thing that goes to the Apollo. So, yeah, there you go. The song is Rust by Ragdoll, and Ragdoll is the band that I play in. So, yeah, that's me. That's me playing me right there. I'm glad you guys dig it. I need to catch up in the chat. 5153 red, correct. There we go. Ooh, picked up a Rev Generator 120 Mark III and absolutely love it. Any experience? I've never played one of their amps, mate, but hopefully in the next couple of months I'll have my hands on either a generator or the G50, one of the 50 watt versions. So yeah, I've been in touch with them, and hopefully they're sending something out. I can make a bunch of noise with it because they look like they're doing some great stuff. Do you have a normal stream time? I don't, but I'm an old man and it's past my bedtime, so I can't say. That's all right. I will try and do this. I mean, look, for me at the moment, my life is like I'm doing this cabaret at the moment, so I have 6 shows a week. Monday and Tuesday I have off. I kind of need to be there at like 4 or somewhere between 4 and 6 o'clock each day. So the rest of the day I'm doing a bit of teaching. But yeah, maybe I'll try and do like morning my time, early evening US time. I'll try and do a regular live stream because it's nice hanging out and playing guitar and, you know, descending into the guitar nerdiverse, which is what we're all here for. I've heard what you play like some Molly Hatchet riffs during your 5-minute tones clip. I have a Southern rock is kind of a forgotten genre. You consider them an influence? Yeah, man, a big influence. So my dad and my uncle used to play in a cover band together, and they used to play a lot of Skinhead and a lot of Hatchet and all that kind of stuff. The standard Hatchet thing for me is maybe let's go to like a Marshall or something. Here we go. This is the JCM 800 out. Yeah. And I know that riff should probably be. That and yeah, so a lot of that was just the background music to my childhood. A lot of that stuff. So yeah, that Blackfoot, I obviously really like, and you know, 38 Special and all, like all that kind of stuff. It's good. It's good stuff, man. And Skinner just had such a wide variety of output. You know, they were a great hard rock band. Trying to be free most of the time, right? You can hear the like Kossoff influence in so much of it as well. So, where are we in the chats? Pete Thorn has a live stream at Saturday, June 1st at 12 p.m. Pacific time. What time's that? Probably midnight for me. I might be getting back in from a show. Maybe I will actually just kind of, if it's not too early in the morning, and maybe I'll just pop on and be a professional pest. Pete's, you know, kind of the reason and the template that I use for doing YouTube videos. So him, Brett Kingman, Pro Guitar Shop, or Reverb Andy, like they're the dudes, man. They seem like great dudes. Dreams I'll Never See, yeah, and Fall of the Peacemakers, man. What an epic song. We'd love to have you as a guest on the show. Yeah, man, let's do it. You know where to find me, so let's. You can show me all the fun stuff with the Steinberger. This one is from Rafi. I love meeting at the Yngwie gig in Sydney. Felt like you were channeling some Zach on the night. Yeah, man, it's like I have, you know, like it's all just Zach Wilde, Paul Gilbert, John Sykes cosplay, man. Like that's if you know those players and you see me play, you're like, oh yeah, I see what he's doing. I see what he's trying to do in there. You know, there's a lot of I watched the Aussie Live and Loud video maybe a few too many times. That's where all the stage moves are coming from. And also, you know, there's like some of the soloing stuff, right? Like playing God all that jazz. Yeah, I still like No More Tears era Zach he was peaking, man. That's so good. So good. What were you playing through at the Glam Fest in Melbourne last year? The mix was probably the best of the day. That's awesome to know. It was the FM3, dude. I was using the Mark IV model. So they sound so similar as well. So the current preset is 5153, which does this. But then I need to tune my guitar. I've got basically the same thing, just with the Boogie Mark IV bumped in instead. I think it's this preset. It's like slightly less Fizztown. So, like, you know, I just dial everything in to sound the same, like a lot of people. Yeah, Leon, on gigs that setups can be rushed, I started plugging my delay into the front of my Friedman small box. I'm digging the smeary vibe. Have you done this? Look, I remember the last show we did of our 2013 tour in the States. The backline amp didn't have an effects loop. I think it was just like a JCM 800 or something. So I did that, and I didn't hate it. For the Bernie shows that I'm doing here, Club Cabaret, there's a couple of bits. I'm just making sure I'm back in tune. I've set it up on the FM9 where I'm using... What amp am I using? The 2203 mod, but I've got a tape delay in front of the amp block for a few things, and I've got it on a foot switch so I can just bring it in on top of anything else that I'm doing. I've got one set up for just a straight dotted eighth note, but I've also got one set up for a quarter note triplet. So I have two channels on there. So I can do the kind of Pat Thrall thing, I would describe it. You know, Pat Travis band. Pat had a very specific delay set up. For the longest time, I thought it was a dotted eighth note, but it's actually like a quarter note triplet. And, you know, you can do the same sort of things. So this is a... That's delay in front of the amp. If I change the rhythmic subdivision, so that's, whoa, what's going on here? Where are we at? I'm operating a Fractal from the front panel. You're not allowed to do that. It's too hard. Okay, so if I go quarter note triplet, yep, and you kind of punch in the... Way too fast. What's going on with this tap tempo? So the dotted eighth note thing, like, it's got a vibe in front of the amp, right? Whereas the, you know, the quarter note triplet, it's obviously, it's triplet, it's got more of the swung. Love it. It's so good. So yeah, anyway, that's doing that. So the revs are a little bit lumpy. Use 2018 P90s. Okay. I mean, that's kind of standard fare, isn't it, on most things? Like, a lot of modern guitars are just a little bit lumpy. I was surprised getting this one plecked and refretted that the fretboard was as well behaved as it was. I was expecting it, you know, 1979 Norland era Gibson, right? They're just bad. They're not good guitars. This is a great guitar. So, yeah, the more you know, hey? Pete Thorn is the business. Absolutely, Pete Thorn is the best, man. Like, you know. Also, totally wholesome dude as well, you know. Like, I feel like you spend enough time on the internet that it corrupts you in some way. And the fact that he's just been doing his thing for as long as he has, it's pretty inspiring, man, I've got to say. It kind of gives me some hope that you can be a person on the internet and not be a total scumbag. So where are we at? See some problems about guitar color and feel. There you go. Pete reminds me of LA. I think he lives in LA, right? So hey man, Lyle, what's up? Speaking of amp gurus who I admire, if you haven't watched any of the Psionic audio videos, ladies and gentlemen, just watch them for the voiceovers, man. You've got the best voice in the business, Lyle. Been dialing in an HX Stomp for channel use. I blame you. Well, thank you. Guilty as charged, bro. It's, I mean, far out. Like, what a great little resource to have, right? You know, if you don't have the circumstance in a particular time to blast an actual amp, and, you know, there's nothing quite like a vintage Fender, Vox, or Marshall at high volume. It's a beautiful, visceral thing, but sometimes you want to get a point across, right? And you're just like, you know what? I kind of want a bit of that crunchy thing. Also, Lyle, I have to say thanks, because I think I understand. I finally, after, you know, it was my 36th birthday on Friday. No, Thursday. What day is it? Thursday. I feel like I've gone all this time not really knowing what an AC30 should sound like, and I was watching one of your restoration videos and I was like, oh, that's it. And it was one of those things that's like, oh, this is the sound I associate with like early Blackmore and Rory Gallagher, and you know, obviously there's the Beatles thing there, but the super driven thing, yeah, it was pretty inspiring, man. So like, thank you. And there's a new, they put in this AC30 Brilliant model in the Fractal, and it's like, it's so much closer to what I hear in those videos. And yeah, just like for the chime, I love it, but also like smashing it with a drive. It's, and with this guitar as well, it's really, really cool. I'll, you know, and obviously the treble booster thing, that's another thing I kind of get now as well, so. love that spitty, saggy thing. And it's kind of cool just sort of knowing, oh, you want more of a mid-range thing, you turn both the bass and the treble down. You want more of a scoop thing, you turn them both up at the same time. It's, again, if you know, you know. There's so much more than a stereotypical jangle thing. Yeah, dude, it's it's one of those things, right? I kind of, growing up, I was like, oh, Marshall sounds like a Marshall. And then hearing clips of, you know, a super lead style circuit versus a 2203 circuit and going, oh, okay. That's why heavy metal in 1983 sounds a bit different to like heavy metal in 1979. There's this thing going on with the amps that are available, and yeah, so cool. Yeah, so that's pretty interesting. Circuit isn't miles away from that 8759 Marshall. So I guess it's why it gets lumped into the British sounding amp thing, right? Like, again, it feels like one of those things where it's like, you know, different parts of the journey, you learn certain things that it feels like everybody else knows, but you didn't know, and you're like, oh, my life just got so much easier when I encounter these amps. So, yeah, it's rad. Absolutely rad. When I was a teenager, this is Michael Sorensen, I bought an Ibanez digital delay pedal. I figured out how EVH was playing Cathedral, open up a can of worms there. There you go. Yeah, and then it's funny, right? Like, I feel like this with delay as well. It's pretty interesting doing the Yngwie shows. He was doing a lot of that long Brian May style echo where you harmonize with yourself, and he was doing it really, really well. And it's kind of funny because, you know, like, you know, and Yngwie's one of those guys who, you know, Yngwie's most important influence, right? He did it all himself. And, you know, he kind of acknowledges like Blackmore and then a bunch of classical composers, but, you know, it's fairly clear there's way, way more in the Yngwie, proto-Yngwie soup, right? Especially when you hear him do the delay thing, because you're like, no, you love Brian May. Like, this is someone you just don't talk about. Like, you're doing his thing, man. Like, you're doing it your way, but there's clearly the influence. And, like, Uli Roth as well. Like, the whole, and, you know, obviously Uli was very influenced by Ritchie as well. But, I mean, far out, man. Like, Sales of Charon, like, it is Malmsteen. Like, Malmsteen was invented in that moment. And then Al Di Meola as well. Like, all the harmonic minor stuff and the Phrygian dominant thing. It's, yeah, it's interesting growing up, you know, obviously being obsessed with Yngwie, and you're like, oh, cool, I should just go and listen to Deep Purple and then I'll understand everything. And you get a bit older and a bit wiser and you're like, okay, cool, yeah. You know, there is more going on in here, so, yeah. And obviously Van Halen as well, like early Yngwie did a lot of tapping and he's pretty good at the Van Halen style tapping thing, so, this is a cool, lots of mids equals British, oddly, tweed equals American, right? So it's like, what about all the other flavors out there? Frost Motion. I spent way too much time inside of harmonized echoes. Oh, dude, it's so fun. Let's have some fun with it. One of my favorite things, do I have that on here? Because this is my gigging FM3, and not the backup that has all the presets on it. Where are we at? I can probably just add a really long delay to this. But if you use a tape delay and you assign a square wave modifier to the motor speed so that it's kind of changing the speed, you get some wild pitch shifting stuff. I might not have it on here, which is a massive oversight. Like, I deleted all the presets on here. I've got like 20 presets. So, all right, well, we're not going to do that. But what we can do is we can maybe do this. I can change the delay to a big spicy, let's engage that. Oh, I don't know, let's do like a 1 second thing, shall we? We'll go for probably a whole note delay. Hopefully that works. Oh, 1.5 seconds. All right, 1 second, everybody. And I'll just offset the ratio a little bit. How does this sound? That's cool. I think I just need more of a digital, no degradation thing on there, and a little bit more mix, and a little less feedback. There we go. I could play it in time. Maybe a slightly shorter delay. You know what? I'm going to turn the tempo sync off and I'm just going to do 800 milliseconds because that's somewhere in the Brian zone, isn't it? There we go. Such a straightforward trick, isn't it? But it's very, very satisfying. Now do Ogre Battle. Dude, yeah. Queen 2, man. It's the one for me. I know all their stuff's amazing, but that was Queen 2, right? I might be confusing myself. Far out. Also, what's the one at Night at the Opera where Freddie's doing that? The Prophet song. That I remember hearing that as a kid and just being like, how is he doing this? And then there's a classic album series where like, yeah, he's just doing it with Echo, you know. He made it work. All right, OU812, take it easy, dude. I am, we'll be in touch. I look forward to it. Enjoy the rest of your night. This is a cool one right here. Do you use the Eventide H90 in your live rig? I haven't. I was going to bring it with me for this so that I can just play around with it here. And I ran out of space. I bought 3 guitars with me instead, which is total overkill. But it means I can, you know, bum around here and play the 335. So, yeah, it was. I mean, I love that pedal, man. I loved the Time Factor was like the first really good delay pedal that I got. I bought one in 2013. We toured the States for like 10 weeks. And right at the start, I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy a really good delay pedal. And I went and bought a Time Factor and loved that thing. Ended up buying the Pitch Factor and the Mod Factor. And then when the H9 came out, I sold them all, bought an H9, used the H9 in my live rig until I got a Fractal. And then when the H90 came out, I flipped the H9 onto someone local who's using it and gigging with it heaps. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. The new algorithms as well are really, really good. And a funny tidbit, I was involved in beta testing that unit. So I've done plenty of stuff with Eventide in the past. They're a great crew, and the pedal launched with like a bucket brigade delay inspired algorithm. It's called Bouquet Delay. It sounds really good. Basically sounds like a DM2. And yeah, they they sent me an email and they're like, oh hey, like, you know, when we were fine tuning the algorithm, there's a really old video on my channel where it was like a minute long. This was before I really knew how YouTube worked. I was just going through all my gear and like, oh yeah, that's a fun thing you can do. I'll make a short video about that. It's just, I set up my DM2 to self-oscillate. That's a minute long video of it self-oscillating. And they said, oh, actually, we watched one of your videos to get the self-oscillation sound right. You know, it's this video with your DM2. Do you still have that pedal and can you A/B it? So that was kind of very, very cool. It was right before launch, and they're like, yeah, you know, can you set up the self-oscillation on there and see if it does the thing? And it does the thing. So yeah, obviously the Eventide pitch shifting stuff's really good, but some of the distortion algorithms in there are really good. Like the Tube Screamer style thing, the Tube Screamer with a gate and extra mids, and you can sort of dial it in and cascade them and run them in parallel and do a bunch of stuff. So yeah, it's one of those pedals, like if I just want to hear some new sounds, it's like, cool, drop 2 random algorithms in and start playing guitar. So yeah, it's a pretty beautiful thing. This one from Frost Motion. If you want some Meris or Keeley pedals to play around with while you're in Sydney, feel free to hit me up. Dude, let's do it. And send me a message if you want to come and see the show, man. Let me know. I didn't realize you were in Sydney, so that could be a cool way to play around with. What's up, Mark Kelly? I hope you're doing well. 335, more Rush. Yeah, well, it's funny, right? Because I still in my brain associate Alex with a 335. And I bought like a black CE24 from the early 90s, which is at Williams Guitars at the moment, getting the stainless refret treatment. And it's a it's a bit of a problem child at the moment because the fretboard was so dry on it. So yeah, hopefully by the time I'm back after this run, I can get that one back, and I've got the, maybe I'll do like a little project and put together my own little Hentor Sportscaster and have the Rush Holy Grail. But yeah, Limelight, it's the Hentor Sportscaster, right? I might. Oh, so while we're talking about Rush, maybe I won't go up to sample. So this will be a tone lower than the recording. One of the best little tricks, and shout out to my buddy Matt, who works for Fractal, the one and only Matt Picone. Those who know him never forget him. He's an absolute proper legend and a pretty brilliant sound designer. Okay, I don't want that sound. I want this sound, and I want a chorus on it. So let's just add some, I don't know, some dimension or something on there like that. Let's hit edit there. What do I want? Actually, you know what? That will do. That's the analog stereo at stock setting. So the chorus in it, right? The way I used to play it was, and I'd play, it's like an E with a sharp 4, right? Like a Lydian chord. So I'd play it like that. Fair enough, or you can play it. But Matt pointed out to me, he's like, if you watch Alex play it, this is why Alex Lifeson's a fucking genius. So there's your first chord. What is it? An A flat 7 sus 4. But it's got the open B in there, so I guess it's an A minor 7 at 11. And what you do is you go to play an E major chord, like sort of the way you play, like, obviously because you're going to end up here, right? So you take that shape, you move it down 2 frets, and you play. Now, what you do is you shift this chord up, ready to play the F sharp 7 sus 4. So it's E shape, but you don't play that note. You shift up when you do that, so it's, oh my god! And it's so much easier to play, like infinitely easier to play. So you have this. Was a revelation for me. So yeah, there you go. There's I don't know if I've done a video about that, but I should. It's just the way to go, dudes. How good is that? Caress of Steel is a great album. Is it a great Rush album though? That's the real question on there. For some reason, I think of Alex Live. Someone I see a 335. Man, that White, didn't he play a 345? Was that, or was it a 355? I think technically, his White one. But I feel like it was like this color before he got it refinished, right? So that's so good. The old GK amp. There you go. That was another like holy grail thing for me. So the story with that, Lyle, before I even played guitar, I used to skateboard. So I was like 14, 15. My best mate at high school, no, probably younger, 13, I think I started. I was in year 8. You know, went to a brand new school, new high school, made friends with this kid, and he skateboarded. And he's like, "Hey man, like, let's skateboard. We should do it." And we used to listen to like Blink 182 and Linkin Park. And it was a thing to, you know, I think it was 411 Video Magazine, where it was like every couple of months you go to the skate shop and it was like $40 to buy one of these videos. But it was just it was what now you'd have on YouTube as just like a compilation video of skateboarding. And we got one of those. We'd always like take it in turns buying them, kind of thing, save up all your pocket money and get the 411. And yeah, the ending scene on one of them, I remember being at home and watching these guys just street skating, and the song that was on, I was like, man, what is this song? There's all this lead guitar, there's this guy screaming over the top of it, and my dad walked past and he went, "Oh, this is cool. Like, you know, what are you watching?" And I'm like, "Oh, watching 411 Video Magazine." He's like, "Find out the name of this song for me. I really like it." And I was like, "Oh, Dad, it's Rime of the Ancient Mariner by Iron Maiden." And he goes, "Oh, Iron Maiden? Yeah, I've got a couple of their albums. Here you go." Like, runs up to his little shed and comes back down with Number of the Beast and Seventh Son of the Seventh Son. I remember putting on Number of the Beast and being like, "Yeah, this is cool." Then putting on Seventh Son of the Seventh Son and being like, I wasn't even playing guitar at the time. I was like, "Whoa, wow, this sounds amazing. I love the way this sounds," you know, all the synths on it and the guitar sound. And then when I got into guitar, learning to play a lot of those songs, and just, you know, always had in my mind, I was like, that's a cool guitar sound. I didn't know what it was. And when I started getting into the rack thing, you know, people were like, "Oh, hey, you know," that album they were using the GK250 ML. And, you know, when I started doing a lot more online guitar teaching, one of my students in the Netherlands, shout out to Rutger, huge Iron Maiden fan, and, you know, loves Seventh Son and Somewhere in Time. And we were talking about that, and he sent me a message one day. He said, "Oh, you never believe what popped up for sale locally here. The rack version of the 250, he said, I bought it." And I was like, "Oh man, that's amazing. You know, if you ever sell it, please let me know first." So yeah, he was like, "Look, I got this thing as a collector's piece. I love Adrian Smith, but, you know, I'm going to move it on." So we put together a deal. He was really, really cool about it. And yeah, I think I need to get in and tweak the trim pots for the, like, it sounds a bit undergained. I know you can get in there. So when I get back home, I'll do another video with that, because it's the sound, like the chorus in it. You're like, there it is. That's Somewhere in Time and Seventh Son of the Seventh Son. It's just, yeah, it's such a cool little thing. You know, I don't know, Lyson used them as well. So, yeah, dude, Gordon knows. 411 Video Magazine. And now we just have YouTube, right? So, yeah, that was such a vibe. Such a vibe. Yeah, man, we people know. And Gordon, I'm glad you're enjoying the Gear podcast. There will be some more episodes, I think, starting from next week. This week has been, the last couple of weeks have been pretty full on. We did the Yngwie tour, then I got sick. So I got home on Monday. I got sick, and I got over it pretty quickly. And then Friday I flew out to Sydney, and it was 4 days of tech rehearsal, first show, then this VIP press night with all the influences that kind of had to be nailed. And I feel like we nailed it. The show went really well. So yeah, have had zero time to do the Gear pod, but I've got all my gear here, so we'll be doing some more episodes. I'm looking forward to it. You know, obviously new amp, new guitar, a bunch of fun stuff coming out. It's always fun to talk about all this kind of stuff. And we'll have to get Lyle on the show as well, because, man, I know I've watched all of Lyle's videos. Troy has watched all of Lyle's videos as well. So it's just, I don't know, man. Growing up as a kid in Australia, felt like anything American was untouchable, you know, and just by the nature of the fact that people had access to all that stuff, well, that's all the vintage Gibsons and Fenders are over there, you know what I mean? So it's cool to see, not the mystique broken, but it's so cool people like Lyle. And Lyle, you're off, so it was a pleasure having you on here, mate. Enjoy your night. But, you know, again, love what you're doing, like you, Jason, a bunch of other people, where it's like, I don't know, it kind of enhances the mystique to me, where it's like, actually, these amps were built by people who made kind of rational decisions based on stuff that was available at the time, and they had to compromise, and there's always that trade-off with engineering, right, where it's like, well, what can you do, and what's going to be feasible to mass produce or something like that, and there's always those compromises in there. So it's part of the cool thing about vintage gear, I think, is about like the creative choices that people made back then. So yeah. Trying to order a Rustron Super C back in the day, 6 months wait, yeah. And then you get it and the manual makes no sense, right? You need someone to help you dial it in. So, oh man. It was still like that when I started playing guitar, dude. I waited 8 or 9 months to get a set of Roland PK5A MIDI pedals so I could play keyboards with my feet like Geddy and Alex. Top 5 guitar albums. For me, ones that were important for me, or what do I think are the top 5? Let's rephrase this question. I'll say, if someone came to me and they said, "Hey Leon, I want to know what's good with electric guitar, or what 5 albums should I listen to?" So I'll do my best to go through that. Jeff Beck, Blow by Blow, instantly comes to mind. Let's just talk about guitar instrumental albums, right? Maybe not. No, let's not talk about guitar instrumental albums. Look, Van Halen 1, 2, Fair Warning. Put that in there. That one's got to be in there. Let's put Deep Purple. Machine Head or In Rock are the obvious ones, right? I would probably say I like Burn a little bit more, but either of those two, that's going to cover your absolute over-the-top rock stuff. Okay, so I'll answer this twice. We'll do instrumental guitar albums, and we'll just do guitar albums in context. So, any of those Golden Era Van Halen albums, any of those Golden Era Deep Purple albums, I would say Houses of the Holy or Physical Graffiti, because you got to have some Jimmy Page in there, right? I would say, what else absolutely rocked my world as a guitar player coming up, in terms of just guitar in context. Man, this is a hard question. This is tricky, because there's stuff that I think I'm making it hard for myself. So yeah, let's say rock guitar. Great rock guitar albums everyone should listen to. Probably Machine Head, probably Van Halen 1, probably any Yngwie album, because you got to have some Yngwie in there. If we're going to talk maybe some earlier 60s stuff, I would say, there's got to be some Hendrix in there, right? But I'm going to say Bridge of Sighs, Robin Trow. I would rather listen to Robin play guitar. And maybe something a bit more modern. Oh, that was an interesting sound. Was that a cat or a crow out there? Just for something a little bit different. Something a little bit more modern. You could take. I want something like 2000s-y. I don't know. Put in Nickelback, Dark Horse, just because everybody hates on that band. We interviewed Chris Baseford on the Gear podcast, and that was a slamming album. I've missed a super chat, which is very kind. So yeah, any like modern American radio thing, Linkin Park or Deftones or Carnival Sound Awake, something like that. Put that out there. Hey Jeff, what's up, dude? Thank you for the super chat. Great to catch you live, as is my custom when able to do so. I must request the obligatory Chris Oliva riff. Look forward to some new Ragdoll. Thanks, bro. Should we do Gutter Ballet? Because I feel like Hall of the Mountain King is my go-to. This top 5 list is ruining me, and I feel like that was an awful top 5. But for me, guitar instrumental albums, you got to have Passion and Warfare on there. You got to have Blow by Blow on there. They're very, very important. I would probably put. I know it's not strictly instrumental, but let's put the first Malmsteen Rising Force on there. Let's put, I don't know, something kind of modern, maybe, that was, I think like maybe any Intervals album would be super cool, because I love the way Aaron fuses the modern widdly stuff with really, really melodic stuff. And man, I might go like the first Mahavishnu Orchestra album, just because John McLaughlin's a vibe, and that was so influential. Either that or like Electric Gypsy, Al Di Meola. I really, really like that one as well. So it's pretty hard. It's pretty hard when you get in there. And like, yeah, you know, the real answer should just be just listen to any Hendrix and you're done. Anyway, for Jeff, let's do some... How does that riff in Gutter Ballet go as well, though? I'm struggling in there, so yeah, man, like obviously some Holdsworth in there as well. Like it's kind of you know, Holdsworth or Malmsteen, take your pick. But you got to have Jeff Beck, you got to have Vi, you got to have Hendrix. That's a balanced diet of what, you know, modern guitar is all about, right? Where are we at? I've always played in drop D. That kind of makes a bit more sense, doesn't it? Let me just refresh my memory. What am I doing? Gutter Ballet. That riff. The kind of orchestral thing. It should be in my brain. I always confuse it with... Let's just go. There we go. I'm really tempted to put some locking tuners on this. These Imperials actually stay in tune pretty well. There we go. What did he do there? How does the solo go again? That run is, oh man, it's so good. So good. All right, I want to get this Gutter Ballet riff under my fingers. Where are we at? Let me see. Yeah, how on earth does that go? What am I trying to play? It might be this riff here though. That's the riff. Kind of does the Randy Rose. having the wang bar is a little bit of an impediment, but not too much. So good question. The Ragdoll song that has the King's X vibe pre-chorus is called Follow the Leader. So you mean this one? The whole idea with that song was like, what if you had a Dogman chorus, but with an Out of the Silent Planet Gretchen style pre-chorus? So it has that. Yeah, I love that so much. Oh my god, Sad Wings Raging. Dude, you take me back, Lillian Axe. So, I reckon Steve Blaze was the first, like, dude in a band that I knew of that I met when we went to the States. So, the very first year we went to the States, we played this festival called Rocklahoma, and Lillian Axe were, like, headlining the stage we were playing on. And Steve was amazing. Like, one of the best live guitar players I've ever seen in my life. He was so good, and he was such a sweet guy. We got to meet him, and I was like, oh my god, you're the dude. He was like, oh yeah man, what's up? Cool that you're from Australia. So I feel like there's a photo of us floating around somewhere where I'm fanboying. Yeah, that's great. Another very, very underrated player. And Prashanta managed to grab a Ragdoll CD. Thank you for grabbing a CD, man. I really appreciate that. We sold out of it. I didn't bring enough for the tour. I was like, yeah, there's no way we'll sell that many. And yeah, we were down to like 5 CDs by the time we got to Sydney. So I'm glad that you snagged one. I hope you're enjoying it. Let me know your favorite song on there as well. That's super cool. King Crimson Red, dude. So I got one for you. One More Red Night there, dude. That song slaps hard. So good. Glenn Tipton, man, he's someone who like continually got better as well. Like you listen to his playing on Painkiller and it's shred. He's so good. Yes, this guitar looks old. It is a 1979 ES335 TD. I don't know if you can see. That's upside down. So that's no good, but yeah, it actually says the model number in there, which is pretty cool. Great, man. I've really been enjoying this guitar. So you do some fun stuff on it, man. I just like being able to do the wide vibrato thing on it. Yeah, I saw the Cordy Headfirst thing. That's super cool, man. We've been messaging each other while I've been over here, and he said, he's like, oh, there's a Headfirst for sale. Like, what's the vibe? I was like, get it. So yeah, I'm super psyched. I mean, you know, it's for someone who does the fusion thing so well. I think everyone forgets Cordy's like just a fucking great rock guitar player as well. So that was kind of cool to be like, yep, you know, when you play a Marshall style amp, Marshall style things happen on there. And then obviously, you know, he kind of made it sound the way he sounds, which is pretty cool. It's been like, you know, nice to see his channel blow up. He's like the hardest working dude doing what we're doing, and, you know, actually has a sense of humor, which we all should try to have at some point in our lives, especially review. I mean, it's just gear at the end of the day, bro. You know, it's like, it's awesome. But, you know, it's not life and death, these kind of things. So I like that Cordy just like, he's ridiculous. He's so good. He's so good at guitar, and he's just like, you know, he's an absolute geezer. He's having a good time. Jeremiah just got an SLO30. My man. I've never played the SLO30. I've got a Hot Rod and I've got an Astro, and I love them. The Soldano thing is the Soldano thing. How do you like it? That's the most important thing, man. Painkiller was a much needed album when it dropped. Yeah, man. Still, the track Painkiller just blows my mind. Man, Rob Halford, GOAT, end of discussion. Every video you're just getting into Fractal and Kemper World. Worried that my ears are getting out of whack with all these choices. What sounds great one day doesn't sound great the next. Mate, try this. Find a cab IR that you don't hate and just use it for everything. That's been my approach with that. If you were collecting amps and pedals, right, it's very rare that people, unless you're Kyle Bull, that you go through a lot of different speakers and cabinets. The speaker cab with a real amp rig, it's often kind of the fixed element in there. You swap different heads in, different pedals and stuff like that. So doing the virtual version of that, where you just find an IR. You know, I've got my IR for free. You can get it and try it out if you like. I use it on all my videos. You do that, and then that eliminates like 50% of the tone thing that's going to change. And then you can try different amps and different gain staging methods, and you know, rather than having all these moving parameters, you fix a really important one and then you play with the other stuff. That would be my advice. Yeah, man, JNC off the hook. That kind of undersells it as well. Dude, I'm not going to argue with it. Halford Dio, Jeff Tate, the OG3. Peak Tate as well, man. Holy crap. Yeah, amazing. Can I do the Sky's Limit solo? You know what? I'll do the whole song for you guys. How does that sound? This is a good... I haven't played this for a while, so there's going to be clams. It's part of the fun.
Release from flesh and blood.
See what I said about the jack being a little bit intermittent? It just kind of... yeah, what's going on the headstock? Yes, it's a little headstock tuner, so I don't have to plug everything in if I want to play it acoustically and be somewhat in tune. I'm glad you guys all like this. Yeah, it's a total vibe with this guitar, right? Can't wait to do some Ragdoll shows with it. I've been enjoying this. All right, I think that's it for me. Prashanta, Playing God and Rewind Your Mind. Well, they were really fun to play in Sydney, dude. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm actually going to split and start getting ready because I've got a double today. Oh, look at that. That should have... make myself go and look beautiful for the show. And yeah, we'll do another... I think I'll hopefully get plenty of time to do live streams while I'm here in Sydney. I've got the setup. I know it all works. I know echo cancellation's off because of all of you. Thank you to everybody who left a super chat. Thank you to everybody who's just been hanging out. It's been a great time, and I will see you all really, really soon. All right, take it easy. You bunch of legends.